We'll continue. We were talking about Black Widow. We were giving our thoughts about Taskmaster. What else? The length of the movie was, maybe it was too long. You're right. It felt like the 2 hours. The badassery of Natasha and everybody. I love that. The nose breaking scene alone. I'm sorry. That's one of the most badass things that any of the Avengers ever did, and I'm not surprised she was the one to do it. I felt like that. What was that situation? There was some kind of a pheromone that our villain had that was, if you smelt it, you couldn't. If you smelt it, you dealt it. You couldn't deal with the villain. You couldn't harm him if you got caught his pheromones. And she had to sever that by breaking her own nose. Tony Stark would have done that.
She couldn't have plugged her nose. They couldn't have stuck something up there and never had to deal with this in the first place before she even got there, which would have made much more sense to me.
I thought that's what they were gonna do. I thought she was faking. I thought maybe they plugged her nose.
Yeah. So that part didn't make a ton of sense to me.
Well, the mother said that it was so strong, the only way that it will be ineffective is if you sever the nerve. Like, I thought maybe plugging the nose wouldn't have worked.
Well, she said that the pheromone was so strong that you would have to involuntarily cause it to cease. Like, if you're in the presence of the pheromone, you wouldn't be able to stop yourself, I guess.
It's like me when I wear that certain cologne. Like, women are like helpless to resist. It's like, Chris, what is that smell? You stink. Go take a shower. They run away screaming. It's my cologne sucks.
But breaking your nose wouldn't necessarily sever the sensory nerve connection in your nose. It would just make it so you couldn't breathe through it. So your sensory would still be there, but your sensory nerve would still be connected, because then everybody who broke their nose wouldn't be able to smell, if that's the logic, ever again.
Isn't that what? That's not what happens. I've never had a broken nose. So have you ever broken?
Yeah, I've busted my nose, and I still can smell.
I forgot about your years in MMA, mixed martial arts. Don't be fooled, guys. The ninth degree capoeira black belt, or whatever the belts are for Krav Maga. Like, don't even like when she says that she's all sweet. No, ass kicker right here.
I played a lot of sports, and my sister broke my nose with an ice ball when we were kids.
I feel like a punk. I've never broken a bone.
Oh, that's the only thing I've broken. My brother's broken.
Wait, hold on 1 second. There's something. Hold on 1 second. I don't know if you can hear me, but
I think my sister broke a bone but I've never broken anything other than my face.
I think it's doing it again. It's.
We're
Can
back.
you see it?
You're back. I'm not back.
Hold on 1 second. So it's not warning me about anything. Oh, because we're not live streaming. But we're back. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. That part you said you said the only bones you've ever broken was your brother's, and what happened?
I didn't break my brother's bones, but I just broke my nose.
I said that so weird. You said your brother broke your nose, or your sister broke your nose?
No, my sister, when she was very little, threw an ice ball at my face, and it busted. You can see my nose is kind of crooked down here.
Now I'm thinking about when my daughter purposely threw an ice ball at my son's face just to see what would happen. And wow, so
it hurts. That's what happened. It hurt.
Yeah, definitely. But that scene, I felt like I agree. Taskmaster. I'm used to, the only experience I have with Taskmaster is not from the comic books. I've seen him in cartoon series, like with Spider-Man, for example. He copies your moves and everything. Okay, I've seen all that. But from what I saw in those iterations of it, is that he's a talker. He goes back and forth with you, and he's not like Deadpool or anything like that. But he was pretty chatty from what I remember. Yeah. And to have her like a mindless mute was. It can be intimidating. You know, you got this silent killer doing all these crazy moves and mimicking Black Panther, it was like trying to figure out, you know, who's Taskmaster, whose skills is he tapping into in this moment. That's fun. But it would have been better to have to understand what the backstory was a little bit. I would have enjoyed that more.
I mean, essentially, Taskmaster is a master assassin. Okay,
Right.
and his whole thing is to get in your head in a psychological way. So he taunts you, he teases you.
Exactly. That's what I remember.
Mimic you perfectly. Mimic your fighting style. So you're basically fighting yourself. So he's just mirroring you in every way and trying to get in your head. Whereas this Taskmaster, not a peep, but Taskmaster she was. They labeled her Taskmaster. This is who she is. She can mimic your fighting style, but she has nothing up top. And that didn't make sense for who Taskmaster is. So that was disappointing.
Are you gonna be one of these purists that you didn't listen to the comic book and because I believe in that rule. If it makes more sense for the comic, the MCU is not the Marvel comic book. And if you need to take liberties to make the movie better, then do it, because we've done it before in other movies and it worked perffully. But
call him something else. But they didn't have to call her Taskmaster.
I don't agree with that rule, because a lot of people say that. They go, if you're gonna change it, then call her something else. Because there's been plenty of examples where they keep it the same character, keep it the same name, change it a lot, and it worked. Don't ask me. I knew you were gonna do that. You know I'm right about this.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
So you're saying every movie you've ever seen, they've changed the character from what their origin, and it did not work for you each and every time.
If they change it just a little bit for theatrics, that's understandable. If you're fundamentally wiping out most of the character and keeping I can mimic your fighting style, but I'm basically brain dead, mind controlled. That doesn't work for me, because Taskmaster was a great character. He was always a great character, and he was so much more heavy.
I agree.
In the comic books, it was a he. So don't call her Taskmaster. They could have called her anything else, and we'd been like, oh, she's kind of that technology of the Taskmaster, maybe.
What movie am I thinking of where the last time they were like, if you're gonna change this character, or maybe was it from a male to a female or something like that, or change the character style, don't call. I'm trying to remember the last time it happened where people were saying, then don't use the same name. But like, I don't know. For example, like name any almost name any reboot. I mean,
it's like taking Superman and eliminating that he ever had an issue with what was it, kryptonite. Taking away kryptonite, making it cheeseburgers. That doesn't quite work.
But changing Superman's weakness. Changing his weakness and changing his characteristics.
Yeah, make him a mutant from the sewer instead of from another planet, and call him Superman. Wouldn't quite work. Wouldn't be Superman.
But that's not what they did. They just turned him from a talkative person. They did the same thing and it didn't work. But they did that.
They took away his mind.
They did the same thing to Deadpool.
And his mind was more powerful than his fighting skills, because the point was that he psychologically manipulated you.
Yeah. And from what I remember, and I agree. I like, from the cartoons that I saw, him the dialogue was half of it. Like you said, he would taunt you and things like that. And that was what made him so threatening to me. I was like, this character, I don't know much about him. And exactly.
He played with you. You were like a mouse.
And that's why he was a taskmaster. He was toying you like a mouse, like a puppet. And then
he was taking you to task. He was a taskmaster. Come on.
And I think that if I remember that episode, it was a Spider-Man cartoon. If I remember correctly, the only person that could defeat him was Deadpool, because he was so out there. Taskmaster couldn't really figure out.
Yeah, he was already psycho. Yeah, he was nuts.
Yeah, you could. Taskmaster couldn't copy his moves because Deadpool was just doing whatever. Yeah. So I think that's how that episode ended. So, and I love that about him. And I felt like, yeah, I agree. I would have been okay with if he was male instead of female. I would have been okay with all that. That would have been fine. Yeah. But if they changed it and it worked, we would be saying something totally different. If you would have loved the story that they came up with for Taskmaster,
if it would have made sense that kept the fundamentals as a character, yeah, I got it. Cinematography, do it for the movies, theatrics, all that stuff. But it wasn't Taskmaster. The only characteristic of Taskmaster was the suit, the physical suit, and then the mimicking,
that copying ability.
Yeah, of the physical moves. But they took 90% of why that character was good, just threw it out for no reason.
And even though I agree, but you know that I love to play devil's advocate. I like to do some. I'm gonna do a little pushback. So let me get a little rough. But I mean, like I said, I agree, but that whole, because I push back online when it comes to those people that call themselves fan, but they use the word fandom, and I'm never gonna say their name on this channel because they're a bunch of assholes. But those true fans who always use those same phrases that like I said, stick with the fundamentals of the character. But let's be honest, 90% of moviegoers are not comic book readers, and they are seeing Taskmaster for the first time.
And they're being underserved.
They're being underserved to the comic book reader, but to the moviegoer, that they don't. Ignorance is bliss. They don't know.
Okay, so if I walked in and I saw that movie, I would say, well, what was the point of that when you had all those Black Widows?
I mean,
and why, if he loved his daughter so much, would he do that to her?
Yeah, but you would be arguing and asking those questions within the MCU, and all the changes that were made.
Like, if I didn't have a comic book background, I would look at it and say, well, that guy's a jerk, but like, what is so special about this person? Because he could have put anybody in that suit and put that chip in anybody's head. So why did he do that to her? It didn't make sense.
But really, would you have asked that question? Because that still feels like the comic book reader asking that question. Because if you knew nothing about the comic book, you would have thought, oh, I guess Taskmaster. I know a comic book exists. I don't read those things, but I guess Taskmaster is a woman in the comic book. You would have thought that's who Taskmaster was. You would not have asked that question.
I would have thought that was a simp character. That's what I would have thought.
You would have thought that was a simp character? Did you say simp?
Like simp, yes, completely. Because it wasn't. They didn't do any development. It was like boom. She got boomed as a child. She got bombed, right?
Yeah.
And then her dad put a chip in her head and forced her to be this androgynous,
this killer vessel of a
yeah.
Kid. So you would have gone to the comic book store.
In the end, they blow dust on her, and that chip in the head actually didn't do anything that we know of. We don't know why it was important to tell us there's a chip in her head.
Right.
So it was just like why? Why couldn't she have been one of the Black Widows? They were all mind controlled. Why did she have to be in a suit?
Why did they choose this? Because it was her daughter, and she was blown to hell, and she needed. And her body was all messed up. Was that suit keeping her alive?
No, because they took half of it off her, and they put the fairy dust on her, and she had all her mind back, and she started to cry, and she said words.
You're right. You're right. This is why I said earlier that I believe that. I mean, yeah, okay, they called her Taskmaster. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I feel like, especially with the multiverse of madness, I mean, we can get another Taskmaster who's the actual Taskmaster, and when we fuse the Earths together or whatever, then the real Taskmaster or the prime or the best Taskmaster of all the universe will be like, I don't know who that lady is, but I'm the real whatever. But I feel like they left it because this movie they introduced a non-talking, barely get to know them, really interesting type of villain that by the end took the mask off. If you ask me, that character, like if this was real events, if that happened to me, my father, mind controlled me, put me through that program. He did it to save my life, but still, I didn't want to be mind controlled.
I don't buy that. He said he experimented on.
Yeah, so by the time I was freed from all the mind control, it's like I hope he's dead. I'm never putting that mask on again. So if you ask me, by the end of the movie, Taskmaster is gone. If you ask me, I would think that character, after what the father put her through, is gone. So I would think somebody else is going to either pick up the mantle, or maybe the father used that mantle that was like what happened with the Mandarin. We thought that the Mandarin was who we saw in Iron Man 3, but then it turns out there was a Mandarin all along in that Marvel short. I feel like they're gonna do something like that he based it on the real Taskmaster. At least that's what I'm hoping for. That's just me.
I watched. She did a bunch of interviews, and I think she's coming back as Taskmaster in a mini series with that family and everything. So that's all set up. Like at the end, they all swooped up in the helicopter. No, all the Black Widows. She's coming with us. She's one of us now.
Sense. I mean,
we're gonna have they're gonna come out with a mini series. It'll probably be after the Hawkeye one.
If she stays a Taskmaster to me, you're right. That doesn't make any sense because.
Yeah.
After I'm sorry. After going through, it looks like she hated her father after what he did to her. So why put the fucking suit back on? And I'm glad we're pre-recording this because I can curse now.
Well, she did get blown up. She got blown up, so we know that she's got a lot of damage to her body, and that suit probably protects her and enhances her.
That's what I'm saying. Does it keep her alive? Like it's like the Darth Vader
I don't
suit.
think it keeps her alive because they were doing stuff with the suit. So I don't think she's like one with the suit. I don't think she's a cyborg or anything, but I think that she's, that like it's an Iron Man suit, but for Taskmaster is what I'm guessing they're making it out to be. So yeah, they could have done more. Hopefully when they bring her back, but there's so many characters they've pulled out now. And they've underdeveloped so many characters. They're just trying to see who hits, and then that's who they're going to roll out with multi-series, and Disney's going to do that for a while, and it's going to make them a lot of money, and I will watch all of them. So
at least you admit that, but because that's what we
all do.
I'm
gonna watch them. They're good or bad. I'm gonna watch them.
See, and that's why you would never ever be a good fit for that other site that I was trying to mention, because they try to pretend like they're the true fans and that they hate everything that Kathleen Kennedy's doing or whoever it is that's doing this and that and the other, Kevin Feige, but then they go watch it anyway, and they always have a weak ass excuse. Of one person actually on the internet on YouTube said, I hate everything about Captain Marvel and Brie Larson. I hate her everything. And then it was like then she gave herself an out before the movie came out. But I'll watch it because I'm a cat person and I love cats. And the cat's only in like 10 minutes of the movie. And you were gonna watch that movie anyway, but you got to get clicks, so you got to do the whole I hate Brie Larson thing. But so I'm glad you didn't do that. You actually did the I like what I like. I don't like what I don't like. But I'll admit it. I'm gonna watch it. See,
everything has good parts.
Exactly.
So
see,
you can appreciate it for their interpretation of it. So it's not going to be exactly how you want it to be, because the people who wrote the comic books, a lot of them died. They're old men. So it's just like, it's fine.
What about Crimson? What about the Crimson Avenger, or what was his name? Crimson Guardian, Red Guardian. What was the name that the sister gave?
I think it was Crimson Defender or something like that, because that's actually another character in the MCU.
Oh, okay. So that was an Easter egg. Okay.
It's a different character altogether. So it was kind of like what was it? He was the Red Guardian. That was him. So that's a separate character.
It's kind of like calling Batman Nightwing, right?
Yeah. The Crimson Defender was I can't remember what it said, but Chip on our podcast gave us the whole spiel of this. So if I can't remember exactly, it's on our channel, within the guild, and you can listen to Chip.
Oh wait, here we go. Here we go. Here's the plug. Within the guild, right here. Go ahead. When does it come on?
We've actually already posted that episode a couple of days ago, so you can listen to him. He knows more about the Crimson Defender, I think it was.
Right.
So that one, it was more like the I believe it was like the Iron Man for the Soviets in the Cold War era kind of thing.
Okay.
So I think it was Iron Man's nemesis during, the Cold War business.
Be honest. You have no idea about this character.
I don't. All I know is what he said. So
like that's what he said,
and he knows all about that stuff. So like I believe him.
Who are we talking about? Which person?
Chip.
Chip, he knows
talent.
He knows a lot about a little and a little about a lot of things, huh?
He knows a lot about the comic book stuff. So if you want to know a historical answer, you can post the question on any one of our videos, and we'll do a podcast about it, and he'll talk to you about it, and then we'll all go like, oh, where did you find that? As I'm Googling it. And he's gonna go, well, it was an episode this and this one and this date and all that stuff, and he'll tell you.
But for first off, by the way, perfect Chip impersonation. You did perfect. That was great. I'm sure he was like accurate. But
he's got his beard.
Yeah, that's right, he does. But but I think that. Okay, now we go to we're talking about the Guardian. Red Guardian, right? Okay, so do you think we'll see him again?
Yeah. He'll be in the series with the lady, with all the Black Widows and all of that.
Wait, is Disney Plus doing that? Is there going to be a series on the Black Widow?
There's going to be a spinoff. Come on, let's get real. They're all set up for one. There's going to be a spinoff. Just like we're going to see Agatha again.
So they didn't say. No, Kevin Feige said we'll see Agatha again, but we'll probably see her in something else. But
She's going to be in the Doctor Strange movie.
But there's not going to be an Agatha show.
There might be.
So you're in this world where like everybody gets a show.
Well, I'm in this world where everybody's been getting a show. Like, come on.
Hawkeye
the
original Avengers. Of course.
Winter Soldier got his show. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That was
Wanda and Vision.
Technically, that was a Captain America show.
Okay? Loki. No, the Hawkeye, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier had their own series.
Yeah, I know, but at the end of it, they changed it from Falcon to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So that was technically.
Now he's Captain America.
Yeah. You're damn right.
The other Captain America did, so they're just past the shoot. But I got you.
And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of haters like, not my Captain America, but you're right. Everybody's getting a show. It's like Oprah Winfrey, and you get a show, and you get a show, and T3 Media.
Well, I can't blame. Like, Disney bought this because it was so easily commercialized, and they're pushing it out, and I can't blame them for it. I'm gonna watch it. I'll enjoy it. Wait,
a movie studio putting things out to make money?
That's the whole point.
It's all about. Let's see. Thank you, hey Randy, for becoming a subscriber. Thank you for doing that. See, I knew the alerts are still. I thought they were broken. It just turned out that nobody was subscribing. 200 episode, man. I think you put us back over the top of 8,400. Let me double check. But I'm hoping we see Red Guardian and. I want to see what the hell was he talking about when he was talking about that Captain America? Like, did Captain America ever talk about me or something? Are they trying to imply that he fought or met Captain America in the in this universe, or was he just lying?
So in prison, he was lying. So he's a super soldier. So if you think of the Winter Soldier, apparently he was one of the first super soldiers that came out of that program. Yeah. And they, propped him up, kind of like the Captain America for Russia for that time.
I assume I assume the Soviet spies stole it and got their own serum and made their own, like they had this. That's what I assume, but
yeah, that's the general premise. I mean, that's the general thing. But he was like the Captain America for the Soviets during that time, right. And then they more weaponized it by,
I think that. I would love to see him on screen with Chris Evans. I think that back and forth would be hilarious.
Well, he's dead now, so.
But who's that? Who's dead?
Chris Evans. Chris Evans, Captain America, has died.
They didn't say that. Where did they?
He got old and died.
He never died. Where they've never had a funeral.
He did die. They had his tombstone.
Where?
Google it.
I don't need to Google it. I saw all the movies and the TV shows. Captain, you are wrong. And guys are watching. No. They've never, because in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show, they never said once. They implied. I thought he was on the moon. They played with it. They never said he died.
He's dead. Don't play. He's dead.
They never said it.
He's on the list of the dead.
wow, what do you have against Chris Evans? That's America's ass.
He's not coming back unless, like, I don't think he'll even be in the multiverse. I think he's finished. I think the actor Chris Evans is kind of moving forward. So I don't think he'll be back.
Real quick before we move on to the next topic. Speaking of multiverse, do you think do you think Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson will come back? That they'll try to, and like Gamora and Scarlett Johansson, the two people that pretty much should stay dead, or do you think everybody's coming back? Like,
well, Gamora, the Gamora that we knew is dead, but the other Gamora, the one from the different timeline, isn't dead.
We technically got the Gamora right before the events of the first Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So it's still technically her, but it's not her with all of the knowledge of what she experienced.
And the feelings.
Yeah. The feelings are gone. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. That's the second time he fucked up, was when he messed up the thing with Thanos, and then he thought he was going to get a kiss from past Gamora. Dude, of course you're going to get kicked in the nuts. She only was told you were her boyfriend. She doesn't feel like that. I thought that was hilarious. But but I would have probably
that's one of my favorite movies, is Guardians of the Galaxy series, and they're going to come out with a third one as well.
I can't wait to see that. But I'm thinking they're going to try to. I'm thinking Scarlett Johansson will come back. The Multiverse of Madness is the perfect way to push that button to reset everything. And
see, the problem with that is she sacrificed herself for that stone.
Yeah, and in our timeline. But if they go to another timeline or another reality where she didn't, and they pull that version of her into ours,
I think that's unlikely, because she's not a constant. She's not a constant within the multiverse. Number one.
What would you rather happen? Would you rather Scarlett Johansson come back or Florence Pugh replace her?
I think that she's already replaced her as far as like future Black Widows are concerned.
I hope so.
Because right now we've got a whole team of Black Widows.
Yeah.
So they're all Black Widows. Like, Black Widow isn't a singular title. It's a type of assassin, of like training. So you're going to say like Ranger or Marine, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. That's a great way to think about it. Yeah. That's
so it's different. So there might be future Black Widow movies. There might be future Black Widow series, but it won't necessarily include Scarlett Johansson, because she's dead and she's not a constant within the multiverse. So if we do see her, I don't know if we'll see the Black Widow version of Scarlett Johansson, or if it'll be something else entirely. Maybe her parents did keep her and she ends up being a scientist or something. I don't know.
No, that would be interesting. And I love Scarlett Johansson.
But I don't think she'll come back as Black Widow, because I think her term contract is.
Oh well, all the original contracts are pretty much up. But I love Scarlett Johansson and I love her as Black Widow. But I would be so interested if they do what you said. If they move on to, it's not really her name. That would be an interesting conversation. Thor was like, wait, who is this? I thought she was Black Widow. That's just like Marine or Ranger. That's a perfect way to describe it. What else was in that movie before we move on? I mean, it was an okay movie. It was great. I loved what I saw. The action scenes and everything was great. Yeah. But the flaws were there and everything. It's not going to be in my top 5. It might not even. I've never done a ranking of all the Marvel movies. It's not in my top 10. It won't be in my top 10. But it definitely is not going to be anywhere near like the bottom 5 or anything like that. So. But I'm going to have to see where it ranks. Obviously, as we all know, and all you guys online know, that Captain Marvel is the greatest MCU movie ever made. I just like triggering people who do pull that fake Brie Larson stuff up all the time. That's no. My favorite MCU movie is it's one. I think it's either Infinity War or Endgame, but I liked Black Widow for what they did. I thought they did a great job. I was really just happy to see the character back, because those feelings that when she sacrificed herself and you didn't know who it was going to be, was it Clint? I think they did a great job. That they were both trying to fight to die. That was kind of a weird thing to do, but that was a crazy scene.
Well, that's who they both are. They both had a good relationship, and so it was hard to see that. But honestly, when she did die, everybody else got that scene where everybody was mourning, and they're like, "Oh dang, where's Natasha? She dead. Okay, move on."
Yeah,
that's all. That's like, it was a half a second of, "Oh dang, she died."
I hulked through a piece of furniture. All right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on, and we'll never memorialize her. Versus everybody else was just like, "Oh, it's so horrible and painful they died," but no, she's dead. Oh, that sucks. Let's keep going.
But if now her sister's gonna be targeting now that Florence Pugh as Yelena is gonna be targeting Clint.
Hawkeye.
So so what's the story there? I mean, everything that the Avengers does is pretty much known when they save the world and whatnot. And they do that. That it seems like the government pretty much releases the footage or the information of what pretty much happens. So why would Yelena be convinced that, or could be easily convinced to blame Hawkeye for nobody was there, nobody knows, and then whatever he comes back and reports, you pretty much have to take at face value. We both went to this world to get this stone. I tried to kill myself to get it because that's what we had to do. She fought me to do it, and I tried my best because I thought I should take the sacrifice, and she beat me to it, and she killed herself to save the world. I'm sorry. If that was what I mean. Even if he was a fucking liar, that's the story. So why was she easily? It seems like she's going to be easily convinced by the character. I've already forgot her name. One of my favorite actors from Seinfeld, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I forgot the character's name. But why was she easily convinced? You want to go after the person responsible for your sister's death? I'm like, wait, what? So Clint, even if he was a liar about what happened, if he murdered her or something, how the hell would you know? It was off-world. These are Avengers. There's risk involved. Why is Florence gonna be so easily tricked into believing Clint caused her death? What the hell was that about? That doesn't make sense to me. That's what I didn't like about them.
Yeah, I think it's multi-level, just manipulation. Right now, we don't know.
But why would it work? What she was
told or what. But she's ultimately working for, I think the character is Val.
Val, yes.
Yeah. I think she's working for her. Obviously, she said, "I'm on vacation," so she's working for her, and she's just has her targeting people. And Val is a fun character in the MCU because she was Nick Fury's girlfriend, but also a double agent. So she worked in S.H.I.E.L.D., and we saw her in the S.H.I.E.L.D. series a little bit.
Wait, you're saying that Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character was down with the swirl? Ooh.
Yes. The character was Nick Fury's girlfriend for a while, but we haven't seen that so far in the Disney's MCU universe. So I don't know if that will be a topic or not. But anyway, she's notorious as a double agent and very manipulative, and definitely utilizing whatever assets she can for her own,
that part I get. That she's working. She's currently working for Val, and then like she said, I'm on vacation. It's just, and that part I was okay with. I mean, because I saw how she manipulated U.S. agent and came up with that name on Falcon and Winter Soldier, and she's obviously they're setting up if they want to do that other I forgot that other Avengers. What's that group called? What was those Avengers called? They weren't called Avengers. They were like an anti-Avengers kind of a group. That's like maybe she's pulling a team together, or she's already she has a team. I forgot what that group was called, but U.S. agent and all those people were in it. So that part I was fine with. It was just the fact that how easily she was able to convince. This is the person that's responsible for your sister's death. How do you know?
I mean, but we don't know what else. Obviously, there's more to it than the two sentences in the very last scene. So yeah. I'm sure they'll explore that in the Hawkeye series. But ultimately, she's working for this woman, and she's an assassin. Okay, so she's been knocking people off who she imagines, I'm sure, is for good, but.
This is going to happen in the Hawkeye series. will only be an antagonist for the first three. If there's 6 episodes, the first 3, and then she's going to be an ally. There's no way in the world you're going to convince me that Yelena is going to be the main villain of the Hawk. No, she's going to be an antagonist from episode 1, 2, 3, and then and then they're going to have a heart to heart, and then they're going to work together. That's what I believe. Or she's just going to leave.
We'll see, but we also don't know where Hawkeye is.
He's out there. He's training his daughter. He's he's being a dad.
Is he? Do we know that for sure? We don't know that.
Right, like you think they're going to start the series off from when he became Ronin?
I don't know.
What would you want?
I think that it'll be interesting either way, because obviously the pictures of the actor himself, he looks older than he was in the other parts of the series. So how they're going to play that out, it'll be interesting to see. And because I couldn't imagine how they would do a whole Hawkeye series, and now I understand that it's going to be this battle, and so I don't know if they'll do more than one season, because like, what could the story be?
I would rather a Hawkeye series than that Armor Wars thing. I don't know why they're doing it. I like Don Cheadle, but I don't see the point of that. Yeah. I don't know why, but I'd rather a
because
Hawkeye.
They can.
Because they can. Like you said, like you said, it's Disney, it's the machine, and I'm looking up any other characters that is worth talking about. One last thing before we move on, because I know I like talking about this topic, but I know we've gone over time. But Robert Downey Jr. is credited. I don't remember seeing him or even being mentioned at all. Why is he credited as a cast member in this movie?
I don't know.
It says Robert Downey, because people probably assumed that they were going to go back in time, and like when Natasha became how she got her skills, and how we were going to see her being trained, and then leading up to when she goes into Iron Man 2. And that's what people speculated. I'm wondering if that's why Google still has Robert Downey Jr. listed as a cast member.
Are you looking at the IMDb?
No, I'm looking. I just typed it into Google. No, I'm not. Maybe I should be on IMDb. That's probably.
Well, they lie on there too. So.
Oh, okay. No, I'm looking at Google. I just Googled cast members for Black Widow, and you're like, IMDb. Are you looking at IMDb? No, good. They lie.
They do lie.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you know. Oh, real quick. OT. Was it? Is it Fagbinal that played the Fagbinal agent? That the guy who kept getting the supplies that Natasha needed, the plane and stuff. I thought there was gonna be a little bit of an interest or a romance there, like maybe I thought, I was like, is he gonna are they a couple? Like, no, obviously no, but I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm a typical guy. I'm like I don't know. I'm just rooting for the brother, I guess. I don't know.
So I'm gonna go back to our podcast. So Chip made a good point. Chip and Scotty made a good point about how this movie was a lot like a James Bond movie. So if you think of who James Bond went to get all of his supplies, so he was basically her
Q.
M.
Yeah, it was. I was about to say Q. Was it Q? Or is it? His
name
is
Q.
M?
Well, it was Q, and then it was M when it was the newest lady.
Okay. Yeah, there was a go
Lady Dane, Lady Judi Dench.
The gadget guy.
Right?
I believe so.
So basically that. And so that was the point. And James Bond and that character always bounced back and forth a little bit, so I think it was fair that they had that bouncy relationship in here too. Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily romantic, but it was flirtatious on a non-romantic level. So I enjoyed their interaction.
And I agree. And I agree with everybody else who always hates the fact that they always force relationships in movies. Mm-hmm. And I agree. And I always agree, but I don't know why. But that thought always still goes into my head. I guess I'm just a typical guy. They're doing it. They're doing it.
Well, we're used to that. We're used to any movie
right. We're used
having to have some sort of sexual tension, regardless of whether it feeds the story.
Right.
So I'm glad they didn't do that.
What was it? The Bechdel test. Let's see how much the MCU movies never pass the Bechdel test. There's men throughout everything, and they get all the ladies, I guess. But I don't know why. You're right. That explains it. That's why I was thinking that way. I didn't want it, but But at the same time, I wanted to see it. Come on, brother. Let's prove that.
We're just used to seeing it.
Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, let's get it. I was rooting for the guy, but all right.
I mean, there was sexual tension between the was it? Oh dang! Now I've
Red Guardian,
and the Red Guardian
and Iron Maiden.
They were all about talking weird stuff.
They became a couple. Like when they were undercover, they became a couple.
She easily manipulated him into doing the things he needed to do by talking a little smack to him, and he loved it.
He loved it.
Pumped up, and
I loved him because he reminded me of me. He loves the punishment and yes, mistress.
But he was easier to control that way, and that's why she did it. She kind of led him to where he needed to be and put him in a headspace to be able to handle the stuff he needed to handle, because in this movie he was not the brightest bulb.
No, he was not. There was one sandwich short of a picnic with that dude, but he was entertaining. I love the way he did it. But I can't wait to see more of him. I really want to see more of her. She played Iron Maiden. The little that we got of her, but she was so effective. From the very beginning, when he said the thing that we talked about, it's happening now, and you could see that they were happy. They tried to pretend when the government came to collect them and everything. They tried to put up a good front when they were like, we're going to be strong, and this was the mission. They enjoyed their family dynamic. They were there for 2 years. They got used to it. They enjoyed it. They loved those girls, and the girls loved. That was one thing about the movie I really loved. The fact that Yelena, she believed, because she was the youngest, so it would mean more to her. And Scarlett Johansson would be more of a realist because she's like, she
went through the machine and then got pulled out.
Exactly, but Yelena believed it. And she was hurt when everybody left and she felt abandoned. I loved that part of the movie. That like Scarlett Johansson putting on that brave face. No, Yelena just kept. She no bullshit. No, you were my sister. That was my mother. No, not like she fought against it, and she was really hurt. That was the one thing that I think that was the moment when I was like, I want her to be the Black Widow. From this moment on, I want to see her because I love her emotion.
She is, and then there's a whole bunch of other ones.
Yeah, I mean we got a whole bunch of other ones, but you know what I mean. Like when the Avengers call them up, I think they're gonna call her before. Like Florence. No, I like that Black Widow over there. No, I think they're gonna call her. I hope she becomes the quintessential Black Widow moving forward, because
I don't know if she'll be past the Hawkeye series. Like I don't know.
I hope so. You don't think so?
I guess we'll see.
You think Hawkeye's gonna kill her?
No, I don't know. I think we're gonna see characters retiring.
But they just got her in. Now Kevin Feige is signing people up to these new contracts. You can't escape Disney now.
I guess we'll see. How it goes.
Okay. Well, that's the question for this segment. I know we went long on it, but guys, let us know. What do you think about the Yelena character? Will she make it past the Hawkeye series, or will she become the quintessential Black Widow, or will they just be like, this is Avengers Part 7. Let's get Black Widow 238 to come in and how are we gonna do this whole thing with these Black Widows and stuff? I guess we'll find out. I'm sure Thor will be like, I thought she was the Black Widow. Like, no, it was just a title. So we have 20 Black Widows to choose from. It's great. It's like Wakanda with the Laura Malaju, if I'm saying that right. Like you said, it's like the Marines. I don't like that. I agree, but I don't like that idea. I think there should be the Black Widow, and the rest are just Black Widow-ish.
Our supporters help make all this content possible, so make sure you check out our Patreon page so you can help us bring you the content you want.
Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal. Yo. Turned up on another level. Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal.